If you're a man over 60 and you've started waking up soft more mornings than hard, I need you to listen closely, because this is where a lot of guys quietly panic. They think, all right, this is just aging, this is just how it goes. And that belief right there, that's what's wrecking your confidence, your hormones, and your sex life faster than anything else. Here's the truth most men are never told. Waking up without an erection is not just a bedroom issue. It's a signal, a warning light. And ignoring it is like driving with the oil light on and hoping the engine fixes itself. But what if I told you there are 3 specific pressure points, yes, on your own manhood, that can help reactivate blood flow, nerve signaling, and morning firmness naturally? No pills, no embarrassment, just understanding your body the right way. Let me back up for a second and tell you who I am and why you should even care what I'm saying. My name is Dr. Camilla Hayes. I'm a men's health specialist, and for years I've worked almost exclusively with men over 40, and especially men in their 50s, 60s and beyond, who are struggling with low energy, stubborn hormone issues, and changes in sexual performance that nobody warned them about. I've sat across from thousands of men who felt embarrassed bringing this up, who thought they were broken, or worse, that this was just the price of getting older. My job isn't to shame you or sell you false hope. My job is to explain what's actually happening inside your body and show you practical, safe ways to work with it again. First, I'm going to explain why morning erections disappear as men age, and why it's not just about testosterone like everyone thinks. Then I'll show you how blood flow, nerve signaling, and pressure-sensitive reflexes in the pelvis play a much bigger role than most men realize. After that, I'll break down the 3 specific pressure points on your manhood and surrounding area that help wake those systems back up when they've gone quiet over the years. I'll explain what each point does, why it matters for men over 60, and how to use it safely. And stay with me until the end, because I'm also going to clear up a couple of dangerous myths that keep men stuck relying on pills instead of fixing the root problem. Before we talk about pressure points or techniques, you've got to understand why this problem shows up in the first place, because it rarely hits all at once. It sneaks up on you. Most men remember a time when waking up hard was automatic. You didn't think about it, it just happened. Then somewhere in your 50s or 60s, mornings change. Maybe it's less frequent, maybe it's weaker, maybe it disappears completely. And most guys chalk it up to getting older and move on. But here's the deal. Morning erections are not about sex. They're about health. They're one of the clearest signs that your blood vessels, nerves, and hormones are communicating properly while you sleep. Think of it like a systems check your body runs overnight. When everything's working, you wake up firm. When something's off, that signal fades. As men age, 3 big changes start happening quietly. First, blood flow isn't as efficient. Arteries stiffen a bit. Circulation slows down, especially to the pelvic area. Second, nerve sensitivity drops. Those nerve endings that used to respond instantly now need stronger, clearer signals. Third, hormones shift. Not just testosterone, but growth hormone, nitric oxide production, and stress hormones like cortisol. Here's what men usually get wrong. They think erections are controlled by willpower or desire. They're not. Erections are reflexes, automatic, governed by the nervous system and blood flow, not motivation. You can want it badly and still not get it if the signal pathway is weak. Another mistake is thinking pills fix the problem. Pills force blood into the area temporarily, but they don't retrain the system. They don't wake up nerves. They don't restore lost signaling. It's like flooring the gas pedal when the engine hasn't been maintained. And this problem sneaks up because men don't talk about it. They don't mention it at checkups. They don't compare notes with friends. So by the time they notice something's wrong, the body has already been adapting to lower function for years. The good news, and this is important, is that the nervous system and blood flow are trainable. Even in your 60s, 70s, and beyond, your body still responds to the right input. And pressure-based stimulation is one of the oldest ways humans have used to wake up dormant reflexes. All right, now let's get into the core of this, because this is where most men finally start connecting the dots. I'm going to walk you through 5 key sections, step by step, exactly how I explain it to patients in my clinic. First, the loss of pelvic blood flow. Nobody talks about, here's the deal, erections are a blood flow event, period. As men age, especially after 60, blood vessels don't open as easily as they used to. Think of your arteries like old garden hoses. Over time they stiffen. Water still flows, but not with the same pressure. What most men think is happening, I'm just not as interested anymore, or my testosterone must be gone. What's actually happening? Blood is having a harder time getting into the small vessels of the penis, especially during sleep when pressure is lower. Why this hits men over 60 harder? You've likely got decades of mild inflammation, maybe diabetes, maybe blood pressure meds, maybe stress. All of that affects circulation. What helps? Targeted pressure in specific areas helps stimulate nitric oxide release and encourages blood vessels to open more efficiently. You're reminding the body how to route blood again instead of forcing it with medication. Second, nerve signaling has gone quiet, not dead. This part surprises a lot of men. The nerves that trigger erections don't die with age, they just get lazy. Erections are controlled by the parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and recover side. If those nerves aren't firing clearly, nothing happens. Real-life example, I'll hear guys say, "Doc, everything still works down there. I just don't get spontaneous erections anymore." That's a nerve issue, not a desire issue. What most men think works, trying harder, thinking sexy thoughts, watching more stimulation. What actually works, mechanical input. Pressure points send direct signals to the nervous system that bypass mental noise. It's like tapping a light switch instead of yelling at the lights to turn on. Third, the base reflex point. Most men ignore. Now this is where we start getting specific. There's a pressure-sensitive area at the base of the penis, near where it connects to the pelvis. This area is loaded with nerve endings tied directly to erection reflexes. Why it matters after 60? As sensitivity drops, this reflex doesn't get activated naturally during sleep anymore. Most men don't know this area exists, let alone that it matters. What men usually do instead, they focus only on the shaft or tip, which does almost nothing for nerve signaling. Gentle, consistent pressure at the base retrains that reflex loop. Over time, the brain relearns, oh, this pathway still matters. This isn't about force, it's about consistency. Fourth, the perineal pressure point that controls morning wood. Let's talk about the area between the testicles and the anus, the perineum. A lot of guys get uncomfortable just hearing that word, but medically speaking, this area is crucial. This region houses nerves tied directly to erection strength and firmness. Why it affects morning erections? During deep sleep, this area should naturally receive blood flow and nerve activation. As men age, that stimulation fades. What most men think, that area has nothing to do with erections. Reality. In clinical settings, this area is directly linked to pelvic floor activation and erection quality. Applying controlled pressure here helps wake up dormant nerve pathways and improve circulation throughout the entire pelvic region. Fifth, the hormone-nerve connection. Nobody explains. Here's an important clarification. Pressure points don't magically raise testosterone, but they do help your body respond better to the testosterone you still have. As men age, hormone signaling weakens. The message doesn't get delivered properly. Think of hormones like emails. Testosterone might be sent, but if the inbox is asleep, nothing happens. Pressure-based stimulation improves receptor sensitivity. That means whatever hormone levels you're working with can actually do their job. This is why some men with normal testosterone still struggle, while others with lower numbers function just fine. A few years ago, I worked with a man named Robert, not his real name, but he was 67 years old, retired, married for over 40 years, and overall he looked pretty healthy on paper. He walked most days, didn't smoke, drank socially, and his labs weren't alarming. But he came into my office frustrated and honestly a little defeated. His main complaint wasn't just sex. It was that he hadn't woken up with a morning erection in years. Not occasionally, never. And in his mind, that meant one thing. Doc, I think that part of my life is over. When we dug deeper, I found something important. His testosterone wasn't great, but it wasn't terrible either. What stood out was poor pelvic circulation, reduced nerve sensitivity, and years of unmanaged stress that kept his nervous system stuck in fight or flight mode. Instead of jumping straight to medication, I had him focus on three things: calming his nervous system, improving pelvic blood flow, and reactivating specific pressure points that had gone completely quiet over time. No extreme routines, no painful techniques, just consistent, targeted input. About 6 weeks later, he came back and smiled before he even sat down. He said, "I don't know how to explain this, but my body feels more awake." A few weeks after that, he told me he woke up hard for the first time in years, and it scared him at first because he thought something was wrong. The real lesson here isn't that Robert became 30 again. It's that his body wasn't broken. It was just understimulated in the right ways. And once those signals came back online, his confidence followed right behind it. Myth number 1. If I don't wake up hard, my testosterone must be gone. This one is everywhere, and it's flat out misleading. Yes, testosterone matters, but morning erections are not a direct testosterone test. I've seen plenty of men with normal testosterone who haven't had morning wood in years, and others with lower levels who still wake up firm. The truth is, morning erections are more about nerve signaling and blood flow during deep sleep than raw hormone numbers. Blaming testosterone alone causes men to chase shots, gels, or pills without fixing the communication problem underneath. Myth number 2. At my age, this is just how it is. This belief does more damage than almost anything else. Aging changes the body, yes, but decline is not automatic. What actually happens is that unused systems shut down. When nerve pathways aren't stimulated and blood flow is poor for years, the body adapts to that lower level of function. The danger here is resignation. Once a man believes nothing can improve after 60, he stops paying attention, and that's when problems accelerate. Myth number 3. Pills are the only real solution. Look, medication can be useful in certain situations. I'm not anti-medicine, but pills don't teach your body how to work again. They override the system temporarily. What nobody tells you is that long-term reliance on pills can actually weaken natural signaling because the body stops trying. That's why many men need higher doses over time. Restoring nerve input and circulation helps your body participate again instead of being bypassed. Here's the truth most men never hear. Erections are reflexes, not rewards. You don't earn them by wanting them harder. You restore them by reactivating the systems that create them automatically. Once you understand that, everything shifts from shame to strategy. First, losing morning erections is not just getting old. It's a sign that blood flow and nerve signaling in the pelvic area have slowed down, not that you're broken. Second, erections are reflexes, not willpower. Thinking harder or wanting it more doesn't fix weak nerve signals or poor circulation. Third, targeted pressure points, especially at the base of the penis and the perineal area, help wake up dormant nerve pathways and improve blood flow naturally, which matters even more for men over 60. Fourth, hormones still matter, but what matters just as much is how well your body responds to the hormones you already have. And finally, real improvement comes from retraining systems that have gone quiet over time, not forcing results with shortcuts. If you understand those 5 points, you're already ahead of most men, and you're thinking about this the right way. Let's pull everything together so it's crystal clear and easy to remember. First, losing morning erections is not just getting old. It's a signal that blood flow and nerve communication in the pelvic area have slowed down, not that your body has failed you. Second, erections are automatic reflexes. They don't respond to willpower, stress, or trying harder. They respond to healthy blood vessels and clear nerve signals. Third, specific pressure-sensitive areas, especially at the base of the penis and the perineum, play a major role in waking up those reflexes, particularly in men over 60, where natural stimulation has faded. Fourth, testosterone alone is not the full story. What really matters is how well your body uses the hormones you still have, and that depends heavily on nerve and circulation health. And finally, The goal isn't forcing erections, it's retraining systems that have gone dormant over time. When those systems come back online, morning firmness often follows naturally. Now, if you're a man over 60 or over 40 watching this and thinking ahead, and this conversation hit home, do not just scroll away and forget about it. This is the exact point where most men either take control or stay stuck guessing. First, do me a favor and hit the like button. It tells YouTube to show this to more men who need to hear it but won't ask for help. Second, subscribe to the Diabetes Health Clinic channel, because everything I share here is about helping men protect their hormones, circulation, confidence, and long-term health, naturally and safely. I also want you to comment below and answer this honestly. When was the last time you remember waking up hard regularly? Months ago, years ago, or not at all? And finally, check the description below. I've put a free guide there that walks you through simple daily habits that support blood flow, nerve health, and hormone balance, especially important if you're dealing with diabetes or insulin resistance. Let me leave you with this. If you're watching this and thinking, this sounds like me, I want you to know something important. You're not alone, and you're not broken. What you're experiencing is common, it's explainable, and in many cases it's reversible when you address the right systems the right way. Your body is not done yet. It's just been waiting for better signals. I'm Dr. Camilla Hayes. Take care of your health, protect your confidence, and keep learning how to work with your body instead of fighting it. I'll see you in the next video.